All right, next, what we will be looking at is the individual flow, the individual and family segment. Um, and the first thing I would like to talk about is in terms of generating quotes for any line of business. There are multiple ways to do that. You can actually go into quotes and generate what we call a quick quote directly from the quote screen without having to enter any information about the customer. And this is, what we call an anonymous or a quick quote. Or you could also be creating a quote by first, creating a prospect, and then for that particular prospect, you could create a quote. So there are multiple ways you can, go through the process. Let's do it the more traditional manner where you actually create a prospect first, and then for that prospect, you will create a quote. To create a prospect, it's a fairly straightforward process. You will notice here there is an add customer button. You just click on it and it opens up a prospect form for you. And then you can go about entering some basic pieces of information about that prospect. And not all fields are necessary in the form. Just the ones that are marked with a red asterisk is what you really need to enter. Um, and let me put in the basic address information. You also need some basic contact information about this prospect. And once you do that, um, you have the ability to create codes for this particular prospect. So all I have to do is save it, and there you go. I've saved my prospect. Now once it is saved, it shows up right at the top of your screen, and you have a couple of options here. Let's look at the ability to create a code for this prospect. When I click on create code, it opens up a modal window here with all these different lines of business popping up. Now you can see that for individual and family lines of segment, you have many different lines of business that we support on the platform. We have the medical, dental, vision. We also support some term life, not a whole lot of them. That's something that we're going to add next year. But among the other ancillaries, we have plenty of accident insurance options, critical illness, short-term medical, final expenses, plenty of indemnity plans, as well as critical illness. So let's start off with major medical and see how easy it is to create a quote and generate some nice proposals using the platform. All right, so this takes me to the quoting screen, and you can see that pretty much everything is pre-populated here. All I have to do is make any edits if needed. And I do have the ability to change anything I want. I can change the zip code, I can change the effective date. If I want to update the census, that's also possible. I can just do that right here. Um, and if I'm looking for exchange plans or ACA plans, then I may want to enter some income information to see if this customer qualifies for any tax credits. And once I enter all the information and click on see plans, I do see all the plans nicely listed here, right? So this is my plan presentation page, and one thing you will notice here is as I go through different lines of business, you will notice that structurally the flow is very similar. The information that we present is fairly consistent structurally, and for example, whenever I'm in my plan presentation page, I will always see these filters on the left hand side. As for example, for a major medical, I can filter by plan type, metal level, premium, deductibles, and I can also see all my carriers on the left hand side, right? So those of you who are from this particular zip code, you will notice that we have pretty much all the carriers that you would find in that zip code. And as I said, that's one of our specialties. We have coverage in all 50 states, and pretty much every carrier that you work with, you'll find them on our platform. So you have the ability to filter it. Now, if this was another line of business, you would have seen different filters, but you will still see all the filters on the left hand side. On the right hand side, you see all these plans nicely laid out for you. right? And for each plan, you see that the key benefits are showing right there on the screen. If I click on show more, you can see more of those key benefits right there on the screen. And what are these key benefits? Deductible, out-of-pocket max, co-insurance, office visits, prescription drugs. You can see all of that nicely laid out. If I click on more details, it's going to show me all the benefits in a single page, right? You see that? You can see every benefit listed nicely in a single page. And now I do have the ability, for example, to email this to the customer directly from here. I can download as a PDF. I can also download the SBC. I can print it, or I could exit from that benefit detail. Now, those of you who want to see the SBC, you can also see the SBC directly from this page. Um, and it links directly to the carrier's site and it pulls up the SBC for you. So what you would notice here is all the shopping tools that you're looking for is right there. If you want to compare things side by side, that's also very easy to do. Here I go. I'm going to compare at least 4 of these plans side by side. See that? Very nicely showing up side by side all the benefits. And here again, if you want to email this to the client, you can email that from here. You can download as a PDF, print it. You can also compare off exchange and on exchange plans side by side. So for example, let me just pick an off exchange plan here. I think I know a couple of off exchange for this particular. There you go. I can pick up one of these off exchange plans, and you can see that it compares them side by side. Now, how do I know which one is on exchange and which one is off exchange? If you look at the on exchange plan, you'll always see a dollar sign at the top right or left, and the off exchange you don't see that. Also for the on exchange, you see that there is an original price and then there is a subsidized price based on the tax credits, whereas off exchange you will see that it's only showing the full price, which again you can email that to the customer, download it, print it. Okay. Also, those of you who like to see more details about how we calculated that rate, just click on about this rate and it's going to show you all the rate details right there on the screen. You can see the census rates, you can see the APTC amount and how the net rate was calculated. You also see this thing called CSR, which is the cost share subsidy, and in this case it says standard, which means there is no cost share. But if I pick up, for example, a silver plan here, you will notice now that when I click on about this rate, the CSR value is something other than standard, which is in this case is RCS 04. What does that actually mean? It means that along with these tax credits, this plan also has subsidized cost share. So this deductible is only $22 per person, and you can see that some of the other cost share like prescription drug is $3 and so on and so forth. So all of those tools are readily available for you. Another nice feature you see is this ability to check for providers and drugs. If I click on this button here, it opens up a pane, which now I have the ability to just enter a provider information, and I can basically add that as a filter. And I can do the same thing with drugs. If I want to see if the customer is currently on some medication, I can add them and see which one of those plans cover those drugs. So once I click on see plans, it's going to filter out the plans. As you can see, every plan is going to tell you whether that particular provider and the drug is covered or not. In this case, you can see Oscar clearly has a good network here, so it's covering those doctors and the drugs. But Ambetter not so good. See, it doesn't cover that doctor, so it doesn't have a great network. So very easy to review all of this information on the screen and accordingly guide and advise your customers about the right plans. Now, whichever plan that you want to see um, in a proposal, you can add them to the cart, and you can add as many as you want. There is no restriction as to the number of plans you can add to the cart. I'm going to add a few here just to show you the differences. Let me add some off exchange plans also for you, right? I'll also add maybe one off exchange from Blue Cross. There you go. So I added 5 or 6 different plans, um, and now that I have my medical plan sitting in my cart, I also have the ability to add some ancillaries to the same cart. I can go in here, pull down any ancillary, whether it's dental, vision. I can add, critical illness or short-term medical. Let me add some dental plans. What it does is, as I switch my line of business, it's going to take me back to that quoting screen wherein it allows me to change the coverage start date. It allows me to change the census. Maybe not all members of the family want dental plan, or maybe they want the dental plan on a different start date. So you can adjust all of those things and then click on see plans, and now you have the ability to see all the dental plans in a very similar structure. There you go. Right, you see all of these dental plans again laid out in a very similar fashion. All the filters on the left hand side, all the plans showing up on the right hand side. Here again, you see all the carriers. Those of you who are familiar with that zip code, you will see that we have pretty much every carrier that you may be working with. Both on exchange and off exchange plans are there. There are 41 off exchange plans and 31 exchange plans. So you have a good mix of on as well as off exchange plans. Here again on the right hand side, for each plan it shows you the key benefits. If you click on more details, it shows you all the benefits in a single page, which you can email to the customer, download it, print it. All those features are exactly the same. If you want to compare these things side by side, you could do that too. Very easy to compare these guys side by side. There you go. Again, you can take this comparison document and email that to the client, download it, print it. Very easy to use. If I want to look at about this rate, see what happens. It shows me something different. In the case of exchange plans, it showed you the APTC amount and things like that. Now for the dental plan, it's showing you something else, like there's a monthly association fee and a one-time enrollment fee for this Argus plan. So everything is context sensitive there, right? So now if I want to add these plans also into the cart, I could very easily do that. I'm going to add a few just to demonstrate you the ability of the platform. See that? I have added a few dental plans, and I've also added a few medical plans into the same cart, right? I'm putting together a nice package for this customer. Now, if I want to do something else, let's say if I want to add some short-term medical options, I could do that too, right? So again, it takes me back to that quoting page where I can modify the census. Let's say this one, I want the short-term medical only for a few months, and I can adjust all of these things and go into the plan detail just like what I did for medical and dental. There you go. You can see it has National General United in there. We're also adding IHC and a couple of other local carriers too. It should be there before open enrollment. But again, you see, what you see here structurally it is the same. You have your filters on the left hand side, all the key benefits for each plan showing up, more details, shows up all of these in a single page. You can compare these things side by side. And you can email this to the customer, download it as a PDF and print it, right? And if you click on about this rate, it tells you details about the rate. This one has a monthly association fee of $15, a one-time enrollment fee of $35. Here again, you can add things into the same cart like before. So now if you look at this, my cart is fairly busy now. It has almost 14 different plans from multiple different lines of business. And now I can go into my cart, review everything I wish to review. So this is something that you need to, just try to understand for a minute what I just did. I actually created a package of medical plans, both on exchange and off exchange qualified health plans, dental plans, both again on exchange and off exchange plans, and then some short-term medical plans. So I put it all together and I can actually create a nice proposal out of this. Either I can download the proposal here or I could email that to the customer, right? Let me just email that to the customer. Now you'll see that when I'm emailing it to the customer, it's asking me for a few things. Hey, what is the format I want to use? Do I want Excel or PDF? Let's say I try PDF. PDF, you got to remember, it looks much nicer, but you can't edit a PDF, right? Whereas in Excel, you have the ability to edit things. Also, another nice feature that we added earlier this year is now you have the ability to include an enrollment link right in that proposal. So whichever plan the customer likes, they can self-enroll. Again, the control is with you. You can decide whether you want to include that enroll link or you don't want to include that enroll link. And rest assured, if they self-enroll, that link will automatically have your ID, so it automatically will include you as the AOR, and it will also show up on your platform once the application has been completed. But this is a very, very nice feature. It can really increase your productivity, especially during open enrollment time when you're very busy. If you know that some of your customers are fairly savvy technically, you can just send them the proposal with that link for them to self-enroll, right? Also, some of those customers who may not want to provide you more sensitive information, this is a nice way to actually send that link to them and have them enter that information on their own. So any kind of sensitivity they have around sharing their social security number or whatever, if they're self-enrolling, they wouldn't have to worry about those things. You'll also notice that in the proposal, you have the ability to either include that as an attachment or as a URL link. What is the advantage of a URL link? A couple of things. If you have your own email templates, with a URL link, you can always copy that link and put it into your own template, which is one nice thing you can do. The other thing is URL links means the customer is clicking on that link and taking to a site, and then from there they actually see the proposal. So those links will expire after 7 days. So that way you can be assured that you're not sending them a quote or a proposal that will never expire, right? So it kind of gives you that added protection. You can also add some additional comments here. And let me just send that to the customer's email address. Okay, hopefully it takes a few minutes for it to come. Let me just